Honestly, never in my life did I think I would be even saying these words out loud, but we are truly considering leaving Southern California. And I wanted to talk in this video why and how did we even come to this type of conclusion. But first, I want to say we live in Southern California. We live in San Diego, and I love San Diego. I went to college here and I stayed here. I've been here for 14 years. Honestly, that's my entire adult life, and I've never considered leaving. I think San Diego is probably the best city in, I don't want to say in the world, but in the United States. To me, it is. Now, that has its caveats, if you will. I think if I was single, or if it was just my husband and I as a single couple with no kids, right, it would be much doable and easier to stay in San Diego. However, we have kids now. We have 2 kids. I want to talk about why I don't think this is the best place that aligns with my values to raise our kids. So, obviously, first things first, everyone knows I think everyone knows, California is expensive. However, New York is expensive. I grew up on Long Island in East Hampton. That's expensive. There's a lot of places that are expensive. Carmel by the Sea, Northern California, there's pockets of California that are very expensive. Now, here's what I'll say. I've been describing this as death by 1,000 paper cuts because for California, it's just not one big thing. It's like a combination of small paper cuts that gets you. First things first is, of course, cost of living. Now, we own a house. We're very fortunate. We got it in 2020 when the interest rates were very low. Having said that, we are not in a good public school system, which leads me to my next point of public school systems. I don't want my kids going to public school in California. I think the politics have gotten so intertwined in the school system curriculum that just no longer aligns with me. And I can talk more about that, but essentially the long story short is that I want my kids to go to school, learn an education, learn how to be critical thinkers. I don't want them to go to school and be pushed to identify to be a frog. So that's where I stand on that. And I believe that values need to come from the home, not a school curriculum. The next thing is anytime you want to go and do something with your kids, it's a minimum of $100. You want to go to a pumpkin patch, minimum $100 you're spending. You want to go to dinner, $100. Do you know, unless you're eating at McDonald's, I'm sorry, if you are going to a nice quote unquote restaurant or even that has whole food produce, you're spending more money. I really hope that this microphone works well because somebody's mowing the lawn as I record this. So pray for me, and I apologize if there's background noise. So the next thing is, let's just hypothetically say you send your kids to private school. Now you have 2 kids in private school. You're paying more for private school than you're paying for your mortgage for 2 kids. Is that sustainable? In our situation, it's not. It's also maybe not the best way to spend the money. And maybe even if you have it, maybe it is the best way. But for you to even go to a school in California, you have to abide by a lot of different, restrictions, if you will, or a policy that, again, sometimes I don't align with. So that's another big thing. Honestly, for someone who has lived here for 14 years, I don't feel like I have a core group of friends. I don't have those people that you can call and just say, hey, come over on Sunday and bring the kids over. And it's sad. It's really hard to make those types of friends. And even if you do have 1 or 2 that you can do that sometimes with, I just don't think that's enough. I want my kids outside, playing in the neighborhood, riding their bikes, bringing the kids over for lunch or dinner, play at my house, whatever you guys want. And that's just not the situation we're in, because I think this city, it's not built for that type of vibe. What I'm looking for, it's more of a smaller city or a smaller community where that's possible. Now, the other thing, of course, cost of living. I just think it has gotten to a point where I even see how expensive it is. And we actually looked at how much we spend on groceries in a month, and it's almost $2,000. Kids are like 1 and 4. It's not like they're teenagers that are stuffing their face. Yes, we prioritize, again, organic food, pasture raised, like chicken, grass-fed beef, things like that. But should it really be that expensive to feed a family? And we literally have fruit trees in our yard, lemons and things like that. We don't buy certain things. So I can't even imagine what people are doing that don't have access to those things, or who are making significantly less money because the average salary is whatever. I have to look that up, but we are considered above and we're barely making that. And there was a moment where I said, oh my God, I failed to live in Southern California. I failed my kids. But then the more I thought about it, it's Southern California failed me. It's not set up for someone who is an average person or slightly above average to be successful long term, unless you pigeonhole and you put your kids into maybe a school system that you don't want to be in. And for me, that's a non-negotiable, right? Schooling for my kids is probably one of my highest values, and I can't just throw them into some random school and hope for the best. That's just not how it's gonna work. And there's so much, I don't want to say like words on YouTube, I think it's gonna flag it, but there's so much that's coming out in schools, how it's unsafe in certain ways, the things that people are doing at school in the bathrooms. It's like very scary, and how you can get these things ingested, and it's scary. So it's very important, I think, for me, where I send my kids to school. The next thing is, one of the hardest things for us to even decide to move is leaving this amazing, beautiful climate that we are so used to and so spoiled with. And yes, people say you pay the sunshine tax. We definitely pay it and then some. However, aesthetics is not quality of life. And I'm not the one to go and move to Alaska where it's like darkness. There has to be some kind of compromise. Maybe I can do a little bit colder during the winters, but maybe no snow. So there's a couple of places we're looking. Obviously, we're looking south as well as, I don't know, we considered Florida, Texas, East Coast, but maybe like Carolinas, right? So we're looking at a couple of places. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions. I'm sometimes afraid to put this out because most of the time people in those places are unkind and say, don't move here, we're full. Guys, California, everywhere is full. The world is full. Just so people are still going to be moving to and from places whether you like it or not. That's just how humanity is going to happen. I said to my husband, if it was just the one thing, I think we could make California work. Let's say if it was expensive, but the schools were very good everywhere, and it wasn't as hard to go out places. When you are going out on a weekend, just like during the day, not going out to party, but with kids, going to the beach, it's impossible to park. We went to the beach literally yesterday, the one day off that we all have together, and there's signage everywhere to not go in the water because it's so contaminated with literally feces. So how can that happen? How can you be paying thousands of dollars to live here and you can't even enjoy the beach? So those are the things that really sting and hurt. That's why I say it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. And for us to move, it's going to take time and energy and money, of course, because it's not like I said, it's just me. I can just pick up and leave. There's so many logistics things that we need to figure out. But this is where we're at. We're thinking that maybe this is not the be-all place for us, and we can reroute, and maybe this pot has been too small and we need our roots to flourish somewhere else, which again, I cannot believe I'm saying that because never in my life did I think that I would leave Southern California. If someone would have told me last year at this time that, oh, you would be thinking of moving, I would be like, you're high. I would never ever consider leaving. But unfortunately, it's twisting my arm to do that, to have a better sense of the nervous system that's calm. So every time I want to go out, I don't want to be like honking and having all this anger while I'm driving because I can't find a parking spot and people are cutting you off. And it's just a place where I wouldn't say that you would describe the city to be. There's a lot more places that are kind and a little bit more polite. So that's what we're thinking. I'll keep you guys updated. Let me know if you've ever done a cross-country move or a really big move with kids. Honestly, specifically moving out of California. Where are you now? How are you liking it? For us, it's not like an extended family. We don't have other extended family anywhere else in this country, so it wouldn't be that type of move, but it's more about other things like logistics, quality of life, and honestly like nervous system regulation. Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested and happy to chat.